anchor down around. Oh, well, let's see if it actually starts. Do we get a video going here? It says we're live. Okay, I can't do it. Um, can't do it. Maybe I make one tomorrow, but I can't do it. The anybody that thinks that this was a good idea. Do you understand that my sons can't travel? We are now worldwide, and I talk to people from all over the world because of what I do on at least a weekly basis, usually. Um, the Great Satan. Let's see. The people know that they're satanic pedophiles and aren't doing much boo about it. The Epstein administration, the Secretary of Commerce is in a picture with Epstein on Epstein's island. Okay, further, um, and the story is too crazy to be true, and yet now it seems like, yeah, it's actually true. And then we find out why it's true, and beyond incredulous. We double tapped a girl's school. We didn't just hit it once, we hit it twice. Because they didn't check AI. They're going to blame it on AI. Because no human checked to see if that was a good target. This is their excuse. Incompetence is going to be their excuse. Could be. Because it's true that Pete Hegseth. Oh, look, I'm doing it. Let's see if I can keep it together. The orders that made it so that you had to double check coordinates were lifted by Hegseth. The direct result of that is the fact that they didn't check to see if it was a school or not. Okay. And this happens like in the very beginning of the war, like in day one. Are you kidding me? It's too perfect. They kill little girls and then they kill their parents too. All right. Let's back up just a little bit more. Uh, they are smart enough to make a martyr out of that Ayatollah. And for I made a map. Why I do it in my map? I have a map. It's Brian spent time drawing this map, and now I can't find him. Whatever. I thought I put it right here. Did you order something? Did you order something? Well, somebody just put something at our front door. Okay, I will be right back because it was a good map. Oh, right there. Yeah, I'm not going to use that. All right, fine. This, I drew this map. I drew this map for you. Let's see here. And then I put all the lines in for fun. It's supposed to be India, Saudi Arabia. This is Africa. There's the Horn of Africa. This is Spain over here. See? And then over here we've got Ireland and United Kingdom, basically. And right over here would be Iceland. And that's what is that? That's Norway, and then Sweden, and then Finland over here. And then you got your Baltic states, and this is Russia. Now, let's just talk about this just for fun, just for a second. You see this right here? This is Kazakhstan. You don't know dick about this country right here. This is Kazakhstan. This is probably one of the most advanced countries on the planet. People go there and they're always shocked and amazed. This is Ukraine. This used to be one country. These are bad people. The Silk Road used to go through here. Anyway, Russia put its finger between this and split this and turned the Khazarians into, well, and they picked Judaism. And now those Khazarians, who are bad people, are right there. And they were set up by this over here. Okay, anyway, this is Iran right here. And see, this is the thing. If you can't point to it on a map, maybe you shouldn't be invading. But most people can't. And there's Iraq. Okay, this is not Iraq. This is not Afghanistan. This is the Persian Empire. And see, you've got all these lines on the map to make you think that it's all the Persian Empire is just right here. Well, the Persian Empire is not just right here, because the Persian Empire, a nation, what is a nation? And see, most of you haven't read Law of Nations, but this is a group of like-minded people, and it doesn't necessarily have to be contained inside borders. These like-minded people are called Sunnis. And then there's these other like-minded people called Sunnis. They freaking hate each other. I know this for a fact. I've dealt with Arabs. Jerry and anyway, I'm not even going to tell any of those stories. But I will say that Ali quit coming to the United States because he wouldn't have his sons and daughters treated like common criminals just to come to Hawaii or Idaho or wherever. And that was a hell of a lot of money lost by the visitor industry in both states because he spent lavishly on his wife and children. Anyway, the point being is that it's a nation of people. Okay. Like-minded people. Iran, Pakistan. Go and see, they're starting to do this in some of the media. Oh, that's too much light. Go look at a map and you can see, and then maybe you can ask an AI to draw you a little thing where it says, what percentage Shia to Sunni in each one of these countries? And I think you'll find that the Persian Empire is a little bigger than you thought. And once again, this is the Persian Empire. They have continuous history, 2,500 years? We got 10% of that. And in that 10% of time, cancer has grown on the United States corporation. And that cancer is Zionism. And it turns out that those Zionists are satanic pedophiles. And now you know. It's not crazy talk anymore. These are people that sacrifice children. These are people that, as I crudely put, they fuck their food before they eat it. These are the most disgusting, vile monsters you can think of. Further, and I can put lots of evidence below. And I can put pictures of just screenshots of article after article after article of child porn at the Pentagon. Hours of news coverage. And then all of a sudden it went away. So don't tell me that the good guys... Okay, I get witness. I'm going to... bringing you into it. I was very surprised as a young boy when I first came to Hawaii that on the 7th day of December, in all public schools in Hawaii, and certainly in Maui, on Maui, see, this is how old we are. You gotta remember, there was just a war, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. So on December 7th, it was Rapa Jap Day in public schools in Hawaii. Oh, aloha, aloha, yeah. On that day, you were allowed to beat up and get plenty Japanese. Am I telling the truth? Poogie. Am I telling the truth about Rapajap Day? Yes. Did you experience Rapajap Day at Baldwin High School? No, we had Kill Jap Day. In case you couldn't hear because she's off camera and in the other room, she said no, it wasn't Rappa Jab Day, it was Kill Jab Day. And because it was Kill Jab Day, Japanese kids just on December 7th, they just never come to school because if you came to school, this is 1968 to was still going on in 82, 83 for sure. If you was Japanese and you came to school, bro, you was gonna get your ass kicked. Period. Because you guys can sneak attack us. I'm not joking. Free cracks. And some kid like in our school was Rappa Jap. It was more like because we like Milton. It was more like getting your arm punched on your birthday. And by the time if they knew what day your birthday was, Brad, you know everybody. If you 10 years old and you get 30 friends, that's 300 cracks, and they're not soft. Anyway, but that's the kind it was. Okay, at Baldwin and a couple other schools was a little more serious than that. Like they literally would kick these kids' asses. Okay, this is history. This is not up for debate or just conspiracy theory. We were fucking there. Now let's take it a step further. The Japanese sneak attack us while we're negotiating for peace in earnest. Okay, because they just went sneak attack. They didn't sneak attack and then kill the president because he was in a room negotiating with them, and then they came up from behind and killed the president and his cabinet while they were negotiating for peace. Okay, the cancer somehow got into Trump's ear and told him that if he killed the Ayatollah Khomeini, the people would rejoice and rise up. No. What actually happened is you galvanized a country and you galvanized a nation. The Persian Empire, all the Sunni. You get Sunni in Pakistan trading small arms fire at our embassies. And they talking about the great Satan. You know, the guys that so honorable they sneak attack. We've done this like 5 times now, where the guy we used a peace agreement to gather them together and then kill. How are you thinking the world looks at us as the good guys? They'll look at us as worse than Nazis at this point. And people can't seem to understand that. My boy's not in trouble. And I guarantee you get Americans in other countries, there's going to be a day where you get hazed just for being an American. But see, it's not Americans, damn it. It's U.S. citizens. And Scott Ritter and a couple other guys made a good point. You raised your hand. Okay, that turned you into a killer. That turned you into a soldier. That turned you into you take your fucking orders, as long as they're lawful. And that's how it is. You signed your name on the fucking dotted line and you put your hand up and took an oath. I got a book around here someplace. I don't know what I did with it. But it specifically tells you not to fucking do that. Okay, but you did it anyway. So now, yes, I agree with you 100% that this is probably an unjust war. Definitely unconstitutional. We have the Federalist Papers tell you all about this. We have all kind of documents, and one of them is called the Constitution that says that, yeah, we're not supposed to have one guy take the whole fucking world to war. Or just United States, corporation. Because look at your lapel, guys. It's not this flag. It's this other flag, United States corporate battle flag. Your uniform has 2 letters on it, not 3. You can chant USA all day long, but US, that's US citizens. And that US citizens in the US corporation has been clearly taken over by satanic pedophiles. Am I talking crazy? Child porn rampant was the word they used with the employees. What are they talking about? The janitors around the computers at the Pentagon? They try to make it sound like it's the workers. No, you in Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, you are an employee of a United States corporation, property thereof. You sign you put your, you said, yeah, UCMJ, and now you don't like the orders. Okay, then can you stand on, okay, unconstitutional? You're gonna have a hard time with that. Just like they're trying to get a bunch of you guys to, I'm not paying my taxes. I assure you that if you paid your taxes last year and you decide that you're not paying your taxes this year because you don't agree with the Iraq war, or you don't agree with Trump, or you don't agree with whatever it is, and that's your excuse for not paying your taxes, you're probably going to go to jail and you're going to wind up paying more taxes. They love guys like you. Don't know the hell you're talking about. You're under statute. Why are you under statute? Because you're a U.S. citizen. And because you told them you're a U.S. citizen over and over again. You gave up your American citizen thing for a U.S. citizen thing. You gave up all of your unalienable rights for civil rights and privileges provided by a United States corporation. And fuck you, Yusuf. You're going to tell me it's not a corporation. Then why do they have a DUNS number? And all of them have DUNS numbers. And right now, as I speak, well, actually, that's done now. Phoenix, County of Maricopa, doing business as Maricopa County, is doing everything it can to hide the fact that they used to have a DUNS number, and now they're getting a different registration, corporate registration number. And it's not even up for debate. It's incorporation. And you fucking guys are with your secure party creditor and your UCC1. What the fuck is that? That's a commercial financing statement. Because they can only do commerce because they're corporations. And through 100% fraud, they convert American citizens into U.S. citizens. And then you somehow don't understand that you don't have rights anymore. You think you do, but you're going to find out if you push comes to shove, and that's not how it works. And I speak with personal experience. But the idea is we have psychopaths running the show, clearly, because this can escalate easily into nuclear war. Easily. And we are now carpet bomb. How are we freeing the Iranian people by bombing and making it rain oil on them? How are we exactly freeing them by doing that? Again, the world is watching. And now we've got all the Arabs and other Sunni starting to realize, wait a second, we didn't sign up for this. I mean, yeah, they hate each other, but we weren't going to destroy ourselves because we hate them so much. And now they set a precedent. Who set the precedent again? That would be Israel or United States hitting desalinization plants. Okay, here's some really simple math for you. If Iran, and they can, hit a desalinization plant or two, there are nation states there 100% dependent on manufactured water. 70% dependent on manufactured water. 80% dependent on manufactured water. They do not have desal. They do not have civilization for more than 72 hours. I have been in hurricane situations. I have been in some shitty situations in my life. But the one, you know what? You got running water? It's not so bad. You don't have running water? Now it's bad. Now it's bad, bad. And no electricity is already a gimme. But you don't have running water. Oh, if you pick any, ask anybody what they would pick, water or electricity. Water. And don't give me this shit about, oh, I can use electricity to make water. It's true, but no, you rather have running water. And further, without water in the desert, are you kidding me? Okay, and now the Iranians are saying, hey, you guys set this precedent. We were intentionally not targeting the unguarded desalinization plants. Further, and this is the part that really annoys me, they have a plan. They have these men, as much as they want to call them lunatics and all the others. Okay, these are wise and learned men. You can consider them left-hand path, right-hand path, depending on how you view the world. However, these are not dummies. This is the Persian Empire, damn it. They've been around, they've seen people like us come and go. Just look at their history. Okay, so they laid out a very simple strategy. And they've been preparing for this for decades. Because and what spurred it on? It's what okay. And this is the other thing. Like we're gonna bow them down, and somehow they're gonna cow. We're gonna bury them in submission by carpet bombing them, and they fought Iraq for 8 fucking years, and they could not reply because Iraq got missile technology from the Great Satan, and they were able to lob missiles into Tehran and other cities, and they could not reply because they did not have the technology at the time. Because what we were doing, United States, was supplying Iraq with weapons to fight Iran. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't, they weren't going to turn over and be like, hey, yeah, you should throw over our regime and install one of your puppets that we hate so much. What in the hell? These people are out of their fucking minds. These people are insane psychopaths who are willing to burn the entire thing down. And everybody, Salente, look at Gregory Manarino. He looks like a hell. Why does he look like hell? Because he knows what's coming. Because he can do math too. And bro, what's coming is nobody want to see this. And it was completely unnecessary. And again, the world is looking at us like we are the insane psychopaths that we are. They're not looking at us like liberators and good guys. Every nation on the planet except us. Africa, Asia, and then India turns out to be nobody's friend. They were supposed to have an agreement with Iran, and they decided to side with the Great Satan. That's going to end badly for them. And see, the Americans are not the Great Satan, but that United States corporation, which is clearly full of pedophiles and Zionists, some of them masquerading as Jews, but 99% just Zionists, and then they blame it on the Jews. I went to the second bar mitzvah on Maui. Those guys have nothing to do with any of this. Those are not the ones that you have to worry about. The ones you have to worry about are in the cabinet. The ones that Jared Kushner, these Jews went to negotiate, supposedly, got offended. Really? Diplomats getting offended like that by, and then showing it. And now they have done. This is how you know it's the work of the great Satan, because everything is the opposite. They said they didn't want Iran to have a nuclear bomb. Well, the one guy who was naysaying everyone else that this is against Islam and he put a fatwa on it, you may not make a nuclear weapon. They murder him while he's negotiating for peace. And see, what they did is, you understand that we have enough nuclear material to make about 11 bombs. Could they get 11 more? And they can put them on the end of sunburns. Because they got that technology from North Korea. Right? And North Korea tested a few of them just to see, yeah, we could do it. It'll work. So now, and now what are we going to do? We're going to put troops on the ground and try to find their nuclear facilities and stop them from building a nuclear bomb? This is not 1941. If they decide they want to put a nuclear bomb together, it'll probably take them 3 weeks, literally. And that's true. They keep saying 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. They're 2 weeks away. Well, now they are probably 2 or 3 weeks away. Because all the rest of them are like, they don't mess with North Korea. And they could make nuclear. Okay, 3 strikes on Israel, and there is no more Israel. Just three. Because this is, people don't understand the technology. And it's so horrifying that there's a fairy tale going on that maybe it's not a fairy tale. I want it to be true, but just because I want it to be true doesn't make it true. That there aren't really nuclear weapons. I'm sorry, I do math. The physics is there. It checks. Yeah, it's a uncontrolled chain reaction. What did Einstein say? Einstein said I could burn my hands that I wrote that letter. Because he wrote a letter to Roosevelt and told him that there was potential in splitting the atom for weaponry of the most devastating kind. And then what happened? They built the damn things. Now see, they always use their toys, always. And who's the only country in who else ever used nuclear weapons on humans than us? You know, trying to say, oh no, it's a firebomb. Okay, I'll take it. I want that to be true also. And that it was a big psyop and that it didn't actually happen. But where was the one of those bombs centered on? Was it a Christian church that they actually was ground zero? Go check into that conspiracy theory. It's history. And they wrote it down. Anyway, these guys are willing to risk nuclear war with the Persian Empire. And they have a trilateral agreement. China, Russia, Iran. If any one of us gets attacked, the other two will come to their aid. Here comes the eagle, here comes the bear. And they're fighting to control the lion's dominion. I don't know, it was in some song. It wasn't him, it was this other guy. Anyway, his son, actually. Here's a fun story. I used to be a radio DJ. When I was a young man, I saw this man in concert at the Lahaina Civic Center. Snuck in because I didn't have the money. Anyway, that's so funny too because they knew and they just fuck these kids don't have money, so let them. And then I freaking emceed his son at the same stage. Almost cried. Ziggy Marley and the Wailers, because we promoted quite a few reggae concerts, and I was MC for quite a few of them. Lahaina Tennis Stadium with Third World and all. Anyway, Jimmy Cliff. Anyway, yeah, I had his whole other life. Anyway, but enough about me. These psychopaths are in control of our government. And you now know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, you already should have known from way back when they were talking about um, Pookie. What was the guy's name where they've never been proven wrong ever in the history of their whole thing? Well, what was it? What was the name of it? WikiLeaks. Yeah, yeah, WikiLeaks. Remember WikiLeaks? Never once retracted a story. Okay, unless you were brain dead stupid. From the WikiLeaks, you could tell that there was some human trafficking going on. That was like quite a while ago, more than a week ago, more than 3 weeks ago, more than like 10, 12, 14 years ago. We started doing this. Okay, and then I'll tell you, I'm a nerd and I have nerd friends. One day I get a weird phone call and say, hey, you want to go on a witch hunt? We're going to go hunt witches. And I was like, all right, I'm in. It's a long story. We found witches. One of the witches was Elefantes. You know, the third most powerful guy in DC, because turns out he just owns a pizza joint, but somehow he gets listed as the third most powerful guy. And then when this whole thing breaks, the crazed maniac comes in and puts one bullet into the hard drive of the computer of the restaurant. And everybody buys it. And you all went, oh, that Pizzagate thing's in a conspiracy. And Pookie wants me to remind you that Elefante is a Rothschild. And they worship elder gods, and their elder gods demand sacrifice, and they don't drink bread and excuse me, they don't eat bread and drink wine. They actually, yeah. So it turns out they're pedivores. And turns out not only are they pedivores, they're horrifying torture monkeys on top of everything else because these are servants of Satan. This is the synagogue of Satan. They're worldwide. It's a nation. It's not just in the United States. It's around the world. And my boys found it wherever you look, you'll find it if you look. But most people don't even know how to look or where to look. They know no signs. They know no symbols. But when my sons were in certain places in Southeast Asia, Thailand and Laos and Cambodia, that was crazy, and Vietnam. And by the way, in Vietnam, they were treated well because they went to go see where their uncle, their grand uncle, was wounded in combat. See, because I told my sons, I'll support you doing anything. Anything. You want to be a Chinese acrobat? I don't care. You want to join the fucking circus? I don't care. But you don't join the military. And you don't become an officer unless it's a sheriff. But not police. Not the policy enforcers. Okay. So I have no issue with my son. I don't have to worry about them going to get killed for Jews in Iraq or Iran. Well, Iraq too, but Iran in this case now. And they're talking about calling up our boys for the 82nd Airborne. Okay, I'll tell you something about 82nd. Those are natural born killers. Bro, you don't become a paratrooper. I mean, that's not everybody. Those guys operate. All of them. You to cook, you still operate. You in supply, you can still operate. This is the 82nd fucking Airborne. And they're going to send these guys to back up the Kurds. Okay, if we go in on the ground, this is all out war for the foreseeable future. And if you think we're going to kick these guys over, after they just got done beefing it out with Iraq for 8 years. Their populace knows what war is. Our populace does not know what war is. We fight wars over there. In fact, everybody, in fact, John Stewart, funny guy. Yeah, they attacked everybody that was an ally of the great Satan, took a hit. Everybody that was the ally of, they knew they were going to get martyred, but they would not hide. And sure enough, united the country. And then the girls. And then a boys' school. And I mean, oh my God. And now we're hitting, and then there's rumors of like, direct hits on hospitals. And here's the other thing. 20 years they've been preparing. Their three-stage plan is really simple. Wave one. And this was driven, right, by the Ayatollah himself, um, with his council. Wave one. He left instructions. This is what you guys going to do. Everybody knows the rules. Everybody knows the game plan. We will return in kind. This is not Christians. This is Muslims. You should read their book, Eye for an Eye. Still yet. See, the Christians, we said, no, enough of that. Because you eye for an eye, the world goes blind. Right? But it wasn't, oh, baby Jesus, and he forgives everybody, and you hope that there's pedophiles in heaven. You fucking, really? You sick fucks. The Christ told you about the reprobate. But never mind all of that. The idea is, these guys, okay, so you hit us, we get to hit you. You hit our desal plants, then we get to hit your desal plants. We were leaving your desal plants alone, but now you hit ours. That means we can hit yours. These fucking insane maniacs. That's who your boy's going to go fight for? Rampant child porn among the brass. And see, you guys are thinking, I know what you guys are thinking, but you don't know. Right? When we went on that witch hunt, I saw things that I can't get them out of my mind. I'll never get them out of my mind. Because they deleted all that stuff before you guys got to it. Because there was one guy in our crew that was a complete fucking idiot that went over there. Pookie got there just too late. And started telling this guy, oh, we're going to get you. How dare you? Oh, you're sick, blah, blah. So he realized, oh, shit, we've been found out. Boom, puts the profile private. Didn't matter, we were behind already. And then starts boom, 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 deleting. Okay, some of those images, bro, they've made it illegal for you even to have the image. Because they don't want you seeing what they do. So even just possessing it. See, because this is adventures in dark webbing. And I have to say, stand fast at the doors of your mind and guard against whatsoever you let therein. Because they're satanic pedophiles doing satanic pedophile stuff. And the problem is that the average person can't conceive of the satanic pedophile stuff because your mind wouldn't even go there because you're not evil. These people are evil. These people are so evil, they'll tell you the opposite of the truth every time. That war is peace, right? Peace through strength. I think you missed the point of peace through strength. But he had everybody fooled. Everybody was thinking, okay, we're not going to war with Iran. And they're trying to say, oh, this isn't war with Iran. This is absolutely war with Iran. And now there's rumor that Bibi is being shot at. His brother is dead, maybe. Maybe he's not dead and they're just saying he's dead so that the people will, who knows? It's war. They lie about everything in war. Everybody lie. You have to understand, of course, they're not going to admit casualties and they're not going to tell you where anything is. I mean, you shouldn't know. And yet somehow the Iranians are hitting pinpoint accuracy with shitty weapons. They're not even using the good stuff yet. So that was wave one, is you're going to overwhelm them with all our old stuff first. Secondly, most of their shit is deep underground in very mountainous terrain. And it's so deep underground, we can't even see it. with quote unquote ground penetrating radar. And by the way, how are they using a system, the $1.2 billion THAAD and the other one, whose name escapes me at the moment, um, to see over the horizon? How are they able to see ships that should be over the curvature of the Earth if you do the math on how far away they are? How is that possible? Just a side point. And that they have certain radars that can see ships at what, 5,000 kilometers? Do that math. The ship should be over here someplace, and okay, because it's line of sight. Your sight doesn't curve with gravity. Anyway, skip all that part. Um, the idea being is that these psychopaths have started a war with the Persian Empire, and they didn't expect them to strike back. Okay, so the Persian Empire has a very specific, simple battle plan that has been distributed to everybody, so everybody knows what to do. They don't need central command. This is the plan. Stage one, this. Stage two, this. Okay, so stage one, we're still in stage one. They just about used up all their crappy stuff. And what was that to do? That was to expend, that was the asymmetrical warfare, that was to expend all the stuff that we had to intercept. And so we only have really expensive stuff because you have so much greed and graft going on at the Pentagon for so long, since the 90s. I know people at Raytheon, well, I don't anymore, I used to. People that worked at Morton Thiokol. I'm a nerd. I taught their kids math. I taught, or they were ancillary. People know people. I know my dad has shit on satellites. Yeah. Oh yeah, my dad designed that. Anyway, these guys, one, they need a lot of silver to build their stuff. But all these guys, many of them are oh look, there's things. Many of them are worshippers of the old gods, and they know, or if they're not, they know that the people that they're dealing with are. Let's leave it at that. And you're going to find out they're bankers, and yeah, they're arms dealers, of course. Okay. This right here is where these lying liars come from. That's called India. And if you take a look at some of the stuff in here, it fits here better than it fits there. But they just modified it to fit the terrain. But the idea is these are worshippers of Kali, the goddess of war, via strange and crazy stories. They wound up here and also there and there. And they are currently engaged in starting a war of tremendous sacrifice to their goddess by using deception. The deception that they're using is these guys over here, and they're not on the map, but over here, you know where they are, and you know the North American continent, have infected like cancer the United States corporation. The lying liars convinced a certain person that all we had to do was kill the Ayatollah and everything would be fine. They had no plan after that because they lied and said, oh, if we kill that guy, they're not going to respond. Right? They're gonna rise up, and now we'll be able to put our guy in, and everything will be hunky dory, and it'll be, hell, we just got done with Maduro, and it took 4 days, which is what they said, 4 days. Then it's 4 weeks, and now it's a little pain. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, a little pain for a lot of gain, or some cute rhyme. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Bro, these guys were in all out struggle with their next door neighbor, Iraq. 8 years. And because they got peppered with missiles, they decided that they needed to have missiles too, so that that would never happen again. So if anybody shot at them, they could shoot back. Oh, look, they did. Further, they understand put stuff deep underground. Now, this is no little country. This is a huge country, and it's a very mountainous region. The last guy to get there and hold it here in Afghanistan, his name was Alexander. They called him the Great. Gay boy. And and you want to know about Persian women? Out of all this area, Greeks and Turkish women, oh my God, and Egyptians, and nope. In all the empire of the known world, that he decided that he was going to get himself, if he had to make an heir because they were forcing him to make an heir, he would at least get a Persian woman because they're so beautiful. But that was the last guy to take the Persian Empire on and win. And then he kept going and got all the way to Afghanistan and held that. That was the last guy. Nobody goes to war in Mesopotamia, and certainly from ancient times, I think the quote is not in that book, but there is definitely nobody goes to war with these guys without regret. Nobody. Not United States, not anybody. Wow, we couldn't even take Afghanistan. Declare victory and leave. After 20 years of endless war for no fucking reason, fucked up most of my friends' kids. Anybody that served over there, they came back fucked up. Just about every damn one of them. Our boys come home and commit suicide at the rate of 22 a day, and we don't like talking about that. These guys, not so much, because they've always been on quote unquote the right side in their minds. Meantime, we have been the aggressors, and we are absolutely the aggressors. There's no other term for it. We are the aggressors here. And you can spout 47 years of bullshit to me, and all it is 47 years of bullshit. And 47 is 11, which is 2, and you don't know anything about that. But fuck you. Because also it's 47. Who is he? Trump. Anyway. Because the numbers mean nothing to you. They mean a lot to them. And now them is affecting you. Because this right here, that little choke point right there, and nobody can say it right half the time, it's the Straits of Hormuz. They can mine it. They can literally block it. They have subs. Right now, that was part of phase 1, which was threat. And you can always, are you, like they're trying to say, oh, we vastly underestimate or overestimate their ability to strike. Bruh, they took out SATCOM. They blinded, everybody now is admitting that, yeah, THAAD's gone. Billions, and it's gone. So a lot of their system doesn't work. And now, see, it's not an integrated system. It's a bunch of different allies that sometimes friendly fire each other, as we just found out. Because they're not all coordinated lovely. But the idea that we're gonna bowl over this nation in a short amount of time, the kids will be home by Christmas. They ain't coming home by Christmas, unless they finally actually do get kicked out because their bases become unlivable. But they're peppering our bases, and they're not even peppering our bases with the good shit yet. Okay, the technology that they've been using 10 or more years old. Use that stuff up first, obviously. Now they're getting to the more expensive stuff. And see, we only have expensive stuff. Why? Because it's so profitable to make weapons. for United States Corporation. Like I said, I know of what I speak. I know the guys. Raytheon, you should be investing, right? Because they're gonna make money. And what do they need? Or silver. They're never gonna talk about that. That's all classified. How much silver per Tomahawk? How much silver per F-15, F-15, F-18, F-35, F any of the Fs? How much silver is that in each one of those? How much silver in the ballistics? How much silver, right? So yeah, they were hoovering it up, and then lo and behold, uh, this price of silver started skyrocketing, and now it costs 3 times as much for that component, which doesn't have a replacement because nothing else but silver will do. Hence its sudden appearance on the critical metals list. And the only reason why it hasn't been on the critical metals list is because the cancer that grew inside your government made sure that these people are too stupid to keep the silver mines open. I could draw another one, but I assume you know what North American continent looks like. North American continent has everything. We lack nothing. We have farmland, we have timber, we have minerals, we have water, we have all the minerals. The rare earths are not that rare. We got gold, we got silver, we got we got it all. We got oil. Like I said, they don't care about the oil. You guys can, the rest of you guys screw off. We got all the oil. We got more oil than we know what to do with. And like I said, that's another one. I'll put a link down there. I am that Hawaii guy. A wizard goes by many names. And I studied that peak oil myth for a decade or more, and then finally I just put it down because, yeah, proved to myself, yes, it's not, everything's a lie. It is a hydrocarbon, and it is created the same way we don't 100% understand how water is created, but water is H2O, sunlight, and a few other things. And yeah, every year there's a little more water on the planet. And every year there's more hydrocarbons because of geologic functions that they don't explain to you. But it makes hydrocarbons, which means that a lot of oil wells that they thought were empty refill because the conditions for making those hydrocarbons are still going on at that well. And what we did was just pump everything out. And that's another thing. I had a short-lived run as a wildcatter. Lone Wolf Oil Corporation. Anyway, that was too much. That was ridiculous. Them is some rough and ready men. Anyway, they have everything they need, but it's not enough. Got to go take it from somebody else. Again, that's how you know they're Satanists, because it's never enough. They are never satiated. There is no parlay with these people. And they've infected your government from top to bottom. They're everywhere. So if you're expecting the pedophiles to arrest the pedophiles, it's not going to happen. The Caligula class is the Caligula class. This battle has been going on. It's the Romans, empire of the city. Oh, wait, a book right here. I was just reading it this way. Okay, empire of the city. What's that? Oh, look, you got to look maps. That's why you want to teach your children about geography. Well, don't teach your children, teach your sons and daughters. That is Rome. That is London. And over here is DC. And between the three of them, they fighting to control the lion's dominion. There's no lion. There's no eagle. There's no bear. Okay, so the point being is these guys been fighting with these guys 3,000 years more. They don't like each other. They don't like each other today. They won't like each other tomorrow. They didn't like each other yesterday. They're not going to get over themselves. And they're more than willing to use us, and not just us, these pawns, those pawns on the chessboard as they fight with each other. And it's two completely different. It is. This is a completely different ideology than the ideology that's here. But that doesn't mean you can't live in peace. And there was prosperity going on in this region, wild prosperity, right? That what they were talking about, radical abundance, which seems to now have slipped from our grasp, or maybe not. Because, like I said, the North American continent, bro, we don't need anything from these guys. Nothing. I mean, literally nothing. That's another reason why they hate United States, because it sits on top of vast resources, like so vast that people don't even understand how vast they are. Just like even the gold. And so what do? Turn it into a national park or a monument or something like that, so you can't get the minerals out because they want to leave it in the ground. So they use up everybody else's first. That was the idea. Use up their oil first because they believe their own lie about the finite resource. Now, see, what kind of Christian is that? Use up their stuff first, especially if they're supposed to be your ally. Especially you're supposed to be friends. Brad, my kids no can travel. Well, they're not kids. My sons. They're definitely not kids. Like I said, when they got there, they were wise enough to say, "Oh, this is a temple to Satan. Oh, this is a temple to Lucifer. Oh, this is a temple to," right? And then they talked to some monks, and the monks cued them in, and they learned about the statuaries and the symbology there. And if the say it's a man or a woman, and the statue doesn't have nipples, that tells you that it's not a real man or woman. It's not one of us. It's one of them masquerading as us. Okay, they already knew this stuff. This David Icke stuff about them look like us, but they're not us. Yeah, it's common practice over there. That's why you gotta travel. Okay. And see, and I got to live vicariously through my boys as they traveled here and spent time in monasteries and went to different places. Because the signs and symbols, they could read them because I taught it to them. And see, other people just look at, oh, that's a beautiful temple. Because it is, they're beautiful. The black temple, the white temple, right? The white temple, that's Lucifer right there. And his symbols are everywhere, everywhere. And all the numbers and all the ratios, all the mathematics, it's all there. They didn't recognize most of the mathematics, but I pointed it out to them. Because even their architecture speaks. Anyway, the point being here is we don't need anything from these guys. So there is a conspiracy theory where what we do is we get these two countries to blow each other up and then we leave. And then we don't have to spend the military and boys and all the money there. And then everybody comes home. And then there's radical abundance on the North American continent because we're not wasting all of our money on the freaking military. That's a conspiracy theory. I don't know if that's true or not. Somebody said that could be part of the plan. Okay, and maybe. I don't know. But the idea is that these guys have pretty much assured their destruction. They cannot beat these guys. Their strategy, we've changed strategy 5 times. Their strategy is the same. Stage 1, waste all of their high power stuff and try to take out as much of their eyes as possible or their radar. They have been successful at that. Why are they successful? Well, because they're getting targeting information from the Russians and maybe even the Chinese. So they know exactly where everybody is. They even, like I said, they apparently, if the story is true, lobbed a missile at Bibi's house, killed his brother. It's fog of war, like I said. We'll see if that story turns out to be true. But what is true is that these guys, this big thing over here, they are helping these guys right now just with targeting. But let's take a look here. What's that? Oh, that's Russia right there, which is borders with Iran. They can drive there. Do you know how much easier it is to move troops around if you can drive? as opposed to having to try to fucking land them like D-Day. The only reason why D-Day worked over here on these beaches right there is because we overwhelmed them with force. That was they slaughtered us, but we had so many guys, we still beat them. But the casualties were insane. You've seen the graveyards that just go for days and days. Like we haven't figured out that killing each other is a bad idea. And when guys like me tell you that killing each other is a bad idea, we're always, oh, you're unpatriotic. I'm so patriotic, I don't want my fellow countrymen getting killed for no fucking reason. Because they're a threat. Who they invade? Who have they attacked? Oh, they've done it through terror cells. The biggest terrorist on the planet, United States Corporation and CIA. Combined with the Five Eyes. According to University of Hawaii professor, by the way, Democide, responsible for more than 38 million, just United States alone, probably 200 million in the last century, of nations killing their own citizens, never mind at war. Between this Russian, Stalin, oh my God, all these guys, Pol Pot down here, Pol Pot. I mean, the governments are a leading cause of death among humans. And right now, once again, it's going to be the case. Are we missing the civilians? Because it doesn't appear that we're missing this. It appears that we might be punishing them. And everybody else, they're looking at us. One, like we're crazy, and two, like, oh, we're trying to live up to the Great Satan thing. This is worse than Nazis. Right? Our reputation on the planet is now worse than Nazis. Let me bring that home. See, because I'm an American and I was raised to be proud of my country. But not my country right or wrong, but proud of my country. And this is the only country raised on ideals. These crazy Americans thinking that our rights come from God Almighty. Not from some piece of paper. Not from some king or emperor. Not at the point of a gun. But from God Almighty. And we don't have authority to give our rights away. And yet we surrender them and then wind up doing the work of the great Satan. You can't tell me your boys are on the right side. These are war crimes. And we had books and laws and rules about doing. The tyrant is not allowed. The president is not allowed. There was no imminent threat of any kind. We have document fucking case for fucking days to prevent what's going on right now from happening. Our founding fathers understood the concept, and this is the highest form of treason. Spending our blood and treasure for a foreign entity. Because, yeah, we are a empire of the city, and there's a certain, these guys right here, that country that, like I said, you don't know anything about this country. You've heard something about Tartaria. Where is that country? Like I said, you don't hear Dick Boo Doo. You don't know anything about that country. Borat. Maybe you know about Borat. But anyway, the Russians felt the need and still maintain the fact that they're going to keep Ukraine and Khazaria in two separate places, and they put their finger there, and now they have truck with the Russian Empire and the Persian Empire. They can trade. And we're going to come in between that, huh? And then look over here. There's this thing called China. And then this is the other thing. Again, look at this. Now here's the other part of it. Stage 2. Oh, better weapons. And by now, they've calculated how many weapons that they have for defense and intercept, and how many weapons they would need to exhaust these. Okay, they didn't have the budget that we did. And once again, that budget was absolutely wasted because we could be using super duper cool, low tech, inexpensive shit. But no, we gotta have the most expensive shit. We gotta spend $1 million fucking dollars a missile. We gotta spend fucking just insane. Go look at the prices for one F-15. That's, like I said, I'm drinking shit water. Why am I drinking shit water? Because I'm in the desert. No, because we spent all our fucking money. Oh, here they are. I want you to understand that these are double, not one but two filtered. This is supposed to be a silver dime. Well, it is a silver dime. It's just covered, caked, because I put it in the water to help purify. These came out of my teapot. But you can also just put them in. Okay, this is what they're supposed to look like when they're new and shiny. Eesh. Okay, and then I'll remind, filtered once through a GAC5 and then again through a Kangen machine. And still that. Okay, we should have sparkling, crystal clear water coming out of the taps. No need for bottled water. We have all the technology we need. We can pull it out of the sky. We can pull it out of the ground. And once we get it out of the ground, we can turn it into pristine water. We have the technology. We don't use the technology and we don't build the technology. So we use shit technology. Oh, just so happens I was forced association with one of the guys that worked at the wastewater treatment plant here. Talked to him for quite a while because math and chemistry and water and anyway. And yeah, with just a little bit more money, we could have crystal clear water here. But no, why would we do that? And then they throw fluoride and all kind of other stuff in there and tell you that it's good. See, and you can tell the fluoride's working, can't you? I can tell the fluoride's working. We don't know what to do. We only have 600 million guns. We don't know what to do. It's pathetic. Oh no! All right, they gonna arrest somebody. Who gonna arrest who? What person in the Caligula class is gonna arrest the other person in the Caligula class? And besides, who the fuck really? You understand that these are fraternal brotherhoods, many fraternal brotherhoods, ones that you've never heard of, and ones perhaps that you have now heard of, like the Boulay. Suddenly, oh, people understand. Oh, yeah. People were accusing me of being Boulay. That's hilarious. No, no, no. Grandma said, "Don't be a joiner." I was gonna. I think it was, what is it, Phi Beta Kappa? I think I was gonna. And then I went to one of the rushes, and I did. No, I'm not doing this. All the fucking nerds from Maui and anyway, people I did not like from chess club and all that stuff. Nah, I'm not doing this. Anyway, but the idea is those they last forever. You're still friends with your college roommate, or maybe not. I don't know, but you probably keep in touch, especially if you're in a fraternity. If you were just roommates, no, but if you were actually in a fraternity together, yeah, they look out for each other. Gee, that's crazy conspiracy theory talk. Nepotism is a thing, and people still like Mormons and Mennonites and Amish. Who else? I can't think of. There's a bunch of cliques that, yeah, they pretty much govern themselves. They stick to themselves, and they do, and they prosper. They take care of each other. Like that's a bad thing. And the brotherhoods is the same way, but these guys just happen to be judges and politicians and lawyers and so forth, and business people, professionals. And then it turns out some of those professionals are pretty sick fucks, especially the very, very wealthy. But see, once you get high enough up, they're not among us. They don't soil themselves in our company. They don't even use the same airports. They would never use, I'm not kidding, they would never use the same restrooms. Like, you don't understand these people. And they exist. Some of you call them the elites, they're billionaires. So yeah, they have money. Some of them are so, most of the billionaires that I know, all self, quote unquote, self made men. High frequency trader, real estate genius. Anyway, made it all the way to billion. Okay, not old money. See, that's a difference. Because I went to school with some old money and I knew some old money and then I met some worldwide old money because of what I do. And they find me amusing. But anyway, the idea is that they don't think like you do. They don't worship the same gods. They find you amusing because you're so naive, so easy to fool. They're exceptionally condescending. They're like disgusting teenagers. That same haughty, anyway, the bad kind of teenagers. There's a lot of good teenagers out there, but I'm talking about the stereotype shitty teenager that, you know, vandalizes shit just for fun. Anyway, except they have money and power. And now the teenagers are beefing with each other and we're in the way. And your sons and daughters are driving the machines of war and unknowingly are going to be considered sacrifices to Cali. You have to have your special uniform on, though, or you don't count. Right? Because that's one form of sacrifice. Then there's the other ones, like little girls and innocents. And then there's, of course, animals. Are they telling you about the animals? And then I mentioned the animals. Yeah, there you go. Now imagine that with more money than God and a God complex, thinking that they're better than all the rest of us, that they're chosen, and that we're not chosen, and that we're actually less, we're subhuman. Yeah, those are not our allies. Your ally doesn't consider you subhuman. You're supposed to stand, right? And see, this is the other thing. Oh, this is going to get me in all kind of trouble. Really? You kneeling before the Jesus. I was always taught you stand behind the Jesus. And that's a whole other thing. The Christ is a whole other different thing than the Jesus. And then there's the Jesus Christ that you stand behind. He doesn't stand behind you. You don't pray to him to win the game or the battle. That's not how that works. You get behind the, right? Because, okay, and then here's another thing. This is just sideshow while I'm ranting. Women, try to understand this. Men, we stand shoulder to shoulder, right, with our allies. We face our enemies. That's not how you guys operate. Women, see, and this one more time. It's completely different, right? I can go face to face with a little girl. You go face to face with a little boy, you're going to get a fucking adversarial response. It's programmed into us. So we stand shoulder to shoulder with our allies, with our friends, right? We stand behind our leaders. Our leaders don't stand behind us. Not the good ones, anyway. Christ was a leader. So you stand behind him. You're not kneeling to him. He was showing you the fucking way. Anyway, when it comes to your homeschooling, or when it comes to relationships, and I actually used to do classes when we were doing homeschooling, teaching the fathers, you make eye contact with your son or that is not a threat. Smile. But you are programmed to take eye contact as a threat, especially Polynesians and Indians and Mexicans. Right? And what do Polynesians do? Okay, broke it. But if I don't do that, then I'm staring you down and now you're a threat. Okay, so women, No, women, they do this with their babies. They suckle their babies. They do this with their babies. They face to face with their babies. They're face to face with their friends. Look in a coffee shop. Heterosexual males will sit like this. They will not sit face to face. Women will always sit face to face, right next to each other, talking story, looking in each other's eyes to read the emotions there and the tone of voice. See, I have to apologize today to one of my students because my tone of voice, and it was a girl, and you can't see. And tone. This is the thing. Men. Here's another thing. Uh, Tone of voice matters, and they hear the tone, and men don't even notice the tone. And so when you're teaching, you got to be thoughtful. You got to be mindful of your tone when you're talking to girls. It doesn't matter with boys. In fact, if you yell at them, better yet. Might be part of the fun. And the more noise you make and so forth. Girls, not so much. You don't want to yell at girls because they shut down. You yell at a boy and he might, right? Because it's not the same. Anyway, and the rest of that is when you have face to face with your man and you're having an argument, if you get face to face, you're going to get an aggressive response. Period. I don't care how long you've been married. I don't care. It's a man and a woman, and you have two different things going on there. And it's programmed in. You can change it with some, right? But it's there. This is 35 years fooling around with students and classrooms and observing behavior and reading and so on. Okay, right now, the Chinese and the Russians are telling many people in this region, you're going to stand with us or you're going to stand with them? The great Satan, the one that just bombed the girls' school and made excuses about it, the one that attacked not once, not 5 different times, attacked people who were supposed to be gathering to negotiate peace, and they used it as an excuse to take out the leadership. Sneak attacks. You're going to stand with those guys, or you're going to stand with us? And I'll tell you, from my boys traveling and from my traveling, they hold us no ill will. They kind of sort of feel sorry for us most of the time. But I'm telling you, in the future, that's not how it's going to be. They're going to consider us, like I said, worse. And what? They're going to have the propaganda that they're going to get about the Americans, the same way we get propaganda about others, is that, you know, we're devil-worshipping, pedophile, serving, child porn watching, with a culture of women that sells themselves on OnlyFans or whatever, Feet Finder or whatever the fuck it is. Porn addicted, overweight. These are not the good, right? They're not thinking of us as, oh, brave, liberating soldiers who eat well and look fabulous, and no. And bruh, on cruise ships and in foreign places, I have been utterly embarrassed for the behavior of some of my countrymen. And I'm going to tell you now, there's places where you be traveling, and just like in Hawaii, they don't give me this thing. Like I said, fuck you, Holly. That's the thing. And if you live there, you understand why it's fuck you, Holly. And why not only is it fuck you, Howley, it's usually, I remember this one guy as the greatest joke, because we used to work with this guy, that he was here for like 2.5 or 3 years before he realized that fucking Howley wasn't one word. Then he realized, because he always heard it so, that he realized that it was fucking and Howley. Anyway, that whole concept, yeah, that's going to be fucking Americans. But it's not. It's fucking U.S. citizens. Because like I said, those boys, it says U.S. It doesn't say USA. They're not serving America. They're serving U.S. corporation, which is supposed to be serving America. But clearly does not have our best interests at heart, or we wouldn't be fucking launching missiles. at the Persian fucking Empire. Like insane people. And then cool with your boys. And anybody that says this is not, you're just unserious people. That it wasn't Bibi that was responsible for this. They did the first strike, and then we followed right after. And now there's all kind of stuff. You can go back on a campaign trail, and you can see how many hundreds of times there's not going to be war with Iran if I'm president. If you vote for us, we're not going to. If you vote for them, they're going to have war. And they would have. They said, yeah. And then the Democrats would have been quiet about them guys. Except here's the difference. The Republicans are mad as fucking hell. And most of them, not all of them, not enough of them, because it should be all of them, are mad as fucking hell that they've been betrayed. You've been betrayed. That's betrayal. Because I know damn well you voted for peace. You voted for the guy that told you he wouldn't take you to war. And when it's an illegal, unconstitutional war, wherein we don't have anything, there's no rhyme, there's nothing they can use to justify. You know, they support terror for 47. Yeah. Why? Because what? Who supplied the rockets to Iran? Excuse me, Iraq, when there was the Iraq-Iran war? Oh, yeah, that was us. Oh, who threw down the democratically elected government and put in a fucking Shah? Yeah, that was us. And that guy was so extreme, so excessive, that the mullahs could rally the people to throw that kind of Western excess down. And they've been ruling the place ever since. And guess what? There's Jews. Hey, Pookie. Pookie. You know any Jews in Iran? The short answer is yes. Because there's a large and thriving Jewish community that lived and coexisted fine. And why didn't they want to go to Israel? Why didn't they leave? You can believe whatever they tell you, or you can fucking do some, right? I don't know if you guys just don't get out much or what. But this is not, right? I'm not spouting, I'm telling you from personal experience. And then understand that there are intelligent people in this nation that fucking hate us. And the difference between us and them, all our guys are lawyers. Most of those lawyers, Masons. All of their guys are architects, engineers, scientists, doctors, some lawyers. Okay, and they got together and they said, okay, this is how we're going to beat them. Quantity has a quality all its own. And if you do the math, and they have, and this is another thing, have the Persians made contributions to the mathematics? Why, yes, they have. Going back generations. Yeah, these guys can do math. You should fear them because they can do math. This should terrorize. But no, you're not even smart enough because you guys can't do math and you wouldn't even know why it would be important that these guys can do math. That's how innumerate my countrymen are. So the idea that these guys, let's see, asymmetrical warfare, we're going to wave 2. Now we're going to now that they don't have defenses, we're going to strike at will. And what are they're getting satellite data from Chinese or from Russians. Now here's the other thing. I know it was a wildfire in Lahaina, but there is that kind of weapon. And I assure you that kind of weapon is going to get used on Iran. Absolutely. And they have no defense. Well, other than painting everything blue. But the idea that it doesn't matter because their shit is underground. The underground complexes that they lied about in Afghanistan actually exist in Iran. because they've been building the shit for years, because they've been planning to kick the great Satan in the nuts for years. And they know, being able to think mathematically, that the United States too far away to actually beat. We can't beat them into submission. We could never invade them. They couldn't even get here. And if they did get here, 50 Texans and we'll probably handle it. It's a joke, but it's not a joke. This is the most armed nation. Good God help. Because there's people thinking that, oh, they're going to have terror cells. Okay. How many rednecks are waiting for a terror cell? You know how many Idahoans and Montanans are looking around looking for their terror cells? And it seems by now the terror cells would have been, yeah, there's been a few guys mostly pissed off Shia. They're not organized resistance, and they're certainly not well-trained commandos or anything. So far, it's going to be a constant threat. It could happen. It could happen. And I don't disagree with our open borders and dumbassery that we've been doing for years, not just under Biden. All kind of fissile material is, we don't even fucking know where it is. There's another, right? Scott Ritter will tell you about that. There's shit missing. And you're hoping the aliens will shut down the nuclear weapons before they go off, but I'm not counting on that. And then Martin Armstrong, if you don't know who Martin Armstrong is, please, for the love of God, go find out. Martin Armstrong, economics, and Socrates. Socrates, his invention long time before we were even using the word AI. He built AI, and Socrates has not yet ever been wrong, and oftentimes predicts certain things, because above all, the mathematics is predictive to the day when certain things would happen. Okay, Socrates now 100%, and this fucking thing has never been wrong. And for that, I hate it, because now it says 100% chance nuclear war. Nuclear, my ass. Anyway, let's see what happens. These psychopaths, these worshippers of Satan and Baal and Moloch, who, we got to sacrifice them one at a time. Fuck, but if we can sacrifice them hundreds at a time, oh yeah, now we're going to get all kind of power and glory. And many of them, many of them, because they come in all shapes and sizes. The ones that are in Thailand, they're not the same as the ones that are in the Middle East, who are not the same as the ones that are in Hawaii, and they're not the same as the ones, Polynesia, but particularly Hawaii, and not the same as the ones that are in Mexico, or the ones that are, they're all there, but they all, secrecy is the main thing, and they all worship elder gods. Like a little Pantheon. Or, if you would read Joseph Campbell, The Hero with a Thousand Faces, not just the Christ, not just Arthur, not just, right, the hero story. Believe it or not, the gay musician, it fits the hero story. Lucifer, our adversary. He has 1,000 faces, comes into the, always deceptive, always father of lies, told Trump that if you just kill the Ayatollah. They had no plan B. They had no follow-up plan. And now their plan changes, and stage 3 is absolutely close off the street. First stage, threaten that we're going to hit you with rockets and so forth. Maybe some guys get through and maybe not, depending on who you're going and where. Where you're going and who. There you go. Anyway, the idea is that they can shut down the strait by mining it, or submariner, or. It's not going to be that hard, because it's such a tight bottleneck. And defending it is, he's delusional if he thinks that our Navy will be able to stop all the incoming. And they can no longer rearm in the Persian Gulf. They got to go to bases far away, because munition depots, radar, all manner of installations have been rendered inoperable, and more inoperable by the day. Because, yeah, and see, I have a friend who's a Democrat and he's a full on MSM consumer. So he's like, all they told us is that it's like they've shot down hundreds of drones, and they have. That was the idea. And they shot down hundreds of missiles. Yeah, they've intercepted hundreds. You're right. It would have been way worse. But you know what? They didn't intercept all of them. And they made direct hits. And they're now making direct hits on Tel Aviv. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. And now they're saying that a lot of places are without power because they're hitting civilian infrastructure. And oddly enough, nobody feels sorry for Israel. And they can't understand why nobody feels sorry for them. Gaza. But the idea that this is some kind of justified war and that we're going to win it, okay, it could happen. I believe our guys are the best killers on the planet, bar none. And I know we have technology that would blow your mind, but I don't think they want to bust it out quite yet. Because they're not joking. We have technology that you can't even imagine. I remember talking to a guy at Skunk Works, and he's like, "Yeah, if you thought of it, we probably built it." I was like, "I don't know. I got a pretty good imagination." And he goes, "So do I." And I've thought of anyway. So if some of the things that are in my mind actually exist, oh dear, we are killers extraordinaire. And see, it gets to the point where the preppers are even starting to think, you can't prep for a nuclear war. You can't prep for a nuclear war. I'll say it one more time. You can't prep for a nuclear war. If it goes nuclear, none of this matters. If it goes nuclear, it doesn't. None of it matters. And it doesn't look like cooler heads are going to prevail because the cancer has taken over the head of the whole corporation. And the cancer, by the way, not just DC, but also City of London and also Vatican. These fuckers understood that they needed to take over the empire of the city, and now they own the empire. And this is a blood feud that goes back long. Most of you can't even trace your genealogy far enough back to the beginning of this blood feud. I know actually a couple of people that can. Taught my sons. But this is, and actually not even to the beginning. They only went back to like 300 or so. Literally 300 AD. They can trace their lineage that far. And there are some of them that, anyway. But the idea is that, guys, this is not our fight. This their fight, and they should never have took the fight. Because look at that. I couldn't even draw it accurately on the map. It's so tiny compared to this thing. And they think they said, okay, so then we got to talk about Samson option. These insane psychopaths. We know they have nukes, and they have intimated on more than one occasion, and just recently, like within 24 hours, I listened to him say it again, that, you know, we might take everybody with us if it gets to a certain point. Mutually assured destruction, and we're cool with being destroyed as long as we destroy all of you too. I think they should reconsider because we have a lot of nukes, but you know how much nukes it would take? And you know, really, is the world gonna forgive us ever for turning this into glass? It's happened before over here on the continent. We just don't remember, but there's so much evidence of it here, and there's evidence that, you know, big round circles of glass, and it's still radioactive. Because they're going to tell you, let me tell you one more time. Archaics will tell you, many others will tell you, there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing is happening for the first time in this simulation. Nothing. This is not the first time for anything. Okay, so should we talk about Operation Looking Glass? Let's talk about Operation Looking Glass for just a moment while I'm sitting here rambling. What they have done is they have created a mirror image of this reality in a computer simulation wherein you have an avatar in that simulation, like the holodeck kind of. And it's pretty much this on the grand scale. And then they can run scenarios. So they can find out what is it. That's, again, you're just doing mathematics. And what they're doing is most probable outcome. So don't tell they gamed this 100 ways from Sunday on a level up here. The guys down here don't know what they're doing. Okay, one more time. Over here in this country right here, this was part of the Roman Empire, all this right here. This is the Moorish Latin. This is the French, the Franks. And they were known for being freedom-loving people. They don't take shit from nobody. The French. And then you got the Germans. There's Prussia. There's another one where you don't go to war with Prussia without regret. Okay, they had to bust Germany. Okay, but let's start with these guys. What do? Napoleon. And then Napoleon, really? He spends his military because he's such a brilliant strategist? Or was he too stupid to be stupid? Maybe he was an agent of the unseen hand spending the blood and treasure of France so that they were no longer a threat to anyone. Maybe that's a possibility. And then another guy, Adolf, we all know him, Hitler, same thing. Takes the best, most disciplined army in the world and spends it on the Russian winter. Hubris? No, too stupid to be stupid. Once again, agents higher up telling these boneheads to spend the blood and treasure of the Prussian Empire, the Germans. Okay, now we got this other bunch of uppity tards that think their rights come from God Almighty. Americans, let's go spend their blood and treasure. Where are we going to spend their blood and treasure? In the Middle East, which they've done forever. You want to talk about history that you maybe or didn't know? Okay, so we have the Crusades come down all the way down here, and while they're gone, because it's quite a while, they didn't have airplanes. They didn't have, right? They didn't even use ships. They were going over land a lot of times. Because trying to get through here, that was another choke point because of these freaking Moroccans. But that's a whole other story. So while everybody's gone, what do they do to the women who are left with the estates? Yeah, they accuse them of witchcraft and take their lands while their husbands are murdered in the Middle East. It's the same unseen hand. They've been murdering off for generations and getting away with it and telling us the most obscene and ridiculous stories. And then one World War, two World Wars, all the old world gets bombed to smithereens. Nothing happened over here, though. This place over here? Yeah. Nothing happened over there. Did you even hear about them? You ever hear about them in any war? You ever hear? You know these guys who were here in Switzerland. Those guys are supposedly neutral. You don't even hear about these guys. Maybe go look just for fun. But see, just like the satellite imagery that they screw around with over here, because see, if you and I were to use like Google Maps to go look at the stuff over here, we're not going to see the real deal. We're going to see what they want us to see, but we're certainly not going to see like their THAAD systems and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And then there's a lot of places in Israel that are just blurred. You can't see it at all. Always has been that way. And there's other places, United States, same thing, blurred. You can't see it. Not allowed. They let you know that you're not allowed to look. Right? They'll have it at a certain magnification, but when you try to zoom in, it's blurred. Okay. It's not blurred to the Iranians clearly because they're doing direct strikes and they're hitting. There's been a couple of them where the story goes the alarm went off and not even 2 minutes later, the explosion. So their early warning system has been blinded. That's going to be problematic. And also, if you understand how that system that we spent a couple of $1 billion on works, once that part's down, the rest of it, the targeting, the early, all of it falls apart. And it was supposed to be built for defense, not offense. So we are pummeling them because we have air superiority. They can't even put a jet in the air without us shooting it down. They don't have anything that can hit them. But there's a country over here. Where is it? Right there. On this coast right there. We had absolute air superiority. And those rice farmers armed with AKs sent us packing. Over here, we had absolute air superiority over Africa for 20 years. How'd that work out? 20 years. And see, you guys are making it sound, there's guys trying to make it sound like, oh, they're going to fold at any moment. One more time, they're not even stage 3 in their battle plan yet. And stage 3 is actually choke that and bomb the fuck out of everything that makes oil. Unless you were not aiding the... Oops, but everybody was. Plus you Sunnis. However, like I said, now we have a situation where the Sunni and the Shia, they are uniting against the big bad wolf. We are a big bad wolf. Make no mistake, we are a bad wolf. But they are many dogs. And now the dog's also going to maybe call in some reinforcements. All these little guys right down here who are absolutely pissed. Did you see that one scathing letter? How dare you? How dare you? What gave you the right to turn this into a battlefield? None of us signed up for this. It was supposed to be they were going to be the aggressor and we were going to protect them if they aggressed us. It was never supposed to be us attacking them. They're actually, they're Muslims after all. But at the same time, yeah, they hate each other, but there was a truce. They didn't kill each other too terribly much, except for, that little Iraq thing. Just skip it over that. Like I said, 8 years. They're not going to fold their tent and go home. They're going to pummel us. And I guarantee you they have played out the scenarios also. And everybody knows the plan. And then the last part of the plan, you're going to hate it because those ballistics are able to pack quite a bit more of a wallop than the stuff that we've seen so far. And I have a feeling we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to start using stuff that packs quite a bit more of a wallop. And what are we doing? We're just going to be killing each other en masse. And these fucking teenagers... Oh, great, Callie, we offer you these fools who we deceived into killing each other for you. You take part in satanic rituals and Super Bowls? Oh, that's crazy talk. Now you know they're satanic pedophiles and they were getting you to participate in rituals you did not understand. Right down to AGT. And what's the other one? Britain's Got Talent, or America's Got Talent. What's the other one? The American Idol. American Idol. 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 Say anything about idols? Okay, and then understand who gave you this book. Who wrote this book for you? The same tiny hats that are going at it with the Persians as we speak. Because see, these guys understand they can't take all these. See, what they want to do is make it so that not only can you see it, it's like all of this. It's like a lot of that and all of this. Syria, there's Jordan, there's Iraq, there's Saudi, there's all Sinai, and they want to be all of this, going back to quote unquote biblical times. That was their aspiration, and that aspiration is dead forever now because they went about it the wrong way. And try to remember, these people are thinking that they're God's chosen people, so God's going to intervene on their behalf. They fucking believe this. And that maybe they just need to make some more sacrifices. They may have to do some other stuff, but that, they're the chosen people. How is it possible that these missiles are raining down on them? Are you thinking that the Israelis are happy with Bibi? It's the same thing with us. How many people were just horrified by Biden or Obama or Bush? But you put your head down and this too shall pass. Okay, this one not gonna pass. And all the people saying, well, this isn't really World War III. There is whether you're a conspiracy theory or theorist or not, there is so much information pointing to, and see, this crazy people, these insane teenagers with too much time on their hand and too much money, believe that they should make the stuff that's written down come to pass. And they're using their insane proxies to make it come to pass. And they are not expecting any kind of regime change in the United States, even though they've told you child porn at the Pentagon, all Hollywood, DC, state capital after state capital, Epstein files, WikiLeaks, the insurance policies on Wiener's laptop, the many things on Hunter's laptop. They're so fucking Hillary and. And don't kid yourselves. I am personal friends. Well, not anymore because I'm here and they're there. They've left the country. And we won't even talk about that. But anyway, and I haven't seen them or heard hide nor hair from them for years. But there was a time when I was personal friends with guys that worked in the NSA, the No Such Agency. Okay, No Such Agency has all the data. Don't even fucking kid yourselves. They know what kind of porn I like. They have all the data. Okay, there is no data they don't have. They pride themselves on that. That's why Operation Looking Glass. They know all about the traffic. They know all about the drug trafficking. They know all about it. They got all of it. They know where all the cell phones are all the time. You know what a fucking nightmare of data to handle that is? And now they have AI to help. And now AI helps, all right. And oops, bombed the school. Because we're still not 100% conversant with how to use this technology to its fullest extent. And it's garbage in, garbage out. We put wrong parameters in, and lo and behold, the school got bombed. Because it kind of fit the description of... And then nobody checked the target. Because Hex is a fucking idiot. No human looked over. The computers just did it all. That's going to be, like I said, it's an excuse. Okay, so now, and I mean, it's too perfect. Isn't it too perfect of a story? Oh, day one, the poor girls overran. And see, and it was like, first it was like 60 girls, and then it was 80, and then it was 100, and then it was 108. And then I was going to be like, oh, is it going to be like 6 million little girls got killed? But no, it turned out, yeah, they actually did bomb a fucking school. And then not only did they bomb it, they fucking double tapped it. And they have photographic evidence. And video. I mean, yeah. See, because the way the algorithm was set up, I don't even want to talk about it, actually. But anyway, the way the algorithm was set up, it was set up to do exactly what it did. And they saw a cluster of people. Oh, that must be a target. Right? It's important if there's a lot of people rushing to the area. Oh, double tap them. The double tap concept in and of itself is atrocious. And we are known throughout the world. Because double tap, that's oftentimes the second tap is responders. Against the Jiva, war crime. We do it all the fucking time. And apparently, American people have not had enough, and they like being U.S. citizens. And I am insulted. Do not call me a fucking. Where is it? There it is. Do not call me a U.S. citizen because I'm not. You have to apply, and I will misprision a felony your ass and under what is it, 18 USC 911. I am not impersonating a U.S. citizen, and you can't make me be one. I was born native. I'm not an immigrant. I don't have to naturalize. I was already fucking here. And so were my parents and my parents before that and going back. Like what? Go to Kine. 5-star passport page. Go 5-star passport page. It's on my website. Scroll down. 5-star passport. Click the button. Begin reading. Or you're going to have to cut and paste some links because I didn't want live links on my website because it's supposed to be a math website. But see, the idea of the 5-star passport, how many of you homeschool parents are starting to feel some heat because, ooh, homeschooling, too many of you homeschooling now, we got to do something about this. What are we going to do? We're going to make it illegal. We're going to make you jump through hoops. We're going to make you do all this other stuff because you're signed your rights away and those children are considered property of U.S. corporation. They've been bonded and you gave them their labor, you informed on them, and then bonded them with that birth certificate. Okay. But if you know anything about contracts, one of the basic tenets of a contract is both parties have to understand, and I can guarantee you, especially my father never would have signed me away into slavery. Are you fucking kidding me? If he knew. He didn't know. I know. I didn't sign my sons away. Now they've got 5-star passports. Which means that the guidelines and the non-positive laws are not applicable. Doesn't mean they're above the law. Just means that it's not, the statutes do not apply. And then go read the Commerce Clause. Go read. I put all this stuff on all over the place. And all you got to do is look. And most people, you look and then, you don't, I don't want to know. And now, instead of doing it right, where you say, hey, that Title 26 is not positive law and applies to a certain class of people of which I am not part, and previous to this I made a mistake because I thought those laws were applicable to me, but actually as I look further, turns out it's voluntary on top of everything else according to your own statutes and code, and I choose not to volunteer, and then you need to be able to find that statute and code that says that the taxes are voluntary and that the agreements can be canceled by either party at any time. I showed it to Pookie. I showed it to my sons, and lo and behold, and actually they're having some trouble now. It was smooth sailing, but now they're running into some boneheads, and they're starting to find out, yeah, if you don't assert your right, they're gonna steal money from you that they have no right to take or withhold. So you have to hold them to account, and then lo and behold, yeah, there's a couple of anyway. Same concept when it comes to homeschooling. If you're not an article of commerce, they don't really have jurisdiction. But since you volunteer, and since you have all these different contracts that you've never rebutted or said anything about, you've stood silent, they presume that you're consenting. And standing on the side of the road in the nighttime with a cop standing there and saying that you don't consent is going to get you either shot, but it's guaranteed to get you into court. And they're going to hopefully escalate it. And maybe they can bond you for some more. Because they're policy enforcers. They enforce policy. And that policy is enriching to them. They're actually in the private, but they operate in the public. But their private is so huge that it looks like the public. But if you walk into their courts, you may find out that, yeah, they're doing private business with you and your bonds. And it's private information, and you're not privy to it with regard to bonding and QSIP numbers and all that kind of stuff. Right? And all the bid bond and the payment bond and anyway, all that. And then your social security number and how that all fits into the thing. Is that your social security number? No, they even tell you that's not yours. They tell you straight up that this is property of the Social Security Administration. Yes, it's given to your in leges because there isn't any fucking money, and it's supposed to be a surety so that you can pay debts. But see, a lot of them will pretend like we don't know what you're talking about. There's no public trust. We didn't put bonds aside for you. My bonds, the easiest ones I could find, all matured 2004 because they're 40-year bonds. Tells you how old I am. But yeah, they've been sitting there now for 24 years, uncollected, just collecting dust. Well, actually, it's not true. They've been borrowing against them, and then derivatives on top of derivatives on top of derivatives. But the devices that we had for looking all that stuff up have been disabled and are now on the dark web or private information because the GMEI utility is no more. But I have lots of screenshots from looking up my numbers there. There's a whole system of bonding that you are not aware of. And my son, my youngest boy, it actually made him very sad when he became aware of the system of bonding. That's how the schools are built, not through taxation. That's how the military operates. That's how all that. Everything you take for granted that they tell you, oh, your taxes are paying for it. No, your bonding is paying for that. And then they take the money that they collect in tax and then they turn those into bonds. Anyway, and most people, like I said, when I found out about this whole every fucking thing in the UCC and bonding and all this stuff back in what was that? That was like 1990, and I used to be a securities dealer. I had all the licenses. I was a principal on top of everything else. I was making pretty good money because you build up a clientele over time, and as they make their monthly payments, you get a little commission off of that, and pretty soon it turns into some money. But then when I found out that I was playing on the wrong team, I quit and I dropped my licenses, and they can't pay you if you don't have licenses. So they just rolled up to the guy above me, and he didn't care. In fact, he was quite happy to have my income, I'm sure. Why are you quitting? I explain why I'm quitting. You're crazy. All right. I will not make money this way anymore. Because the whole insurance securities thing, fraud, and now you know it's all rigged. It's all rigged. Then you can use the rigging in your favor, or you can use the rigging some other way. I mean, usually the rigging is against you. But right now, the rigging is in our favor. They rigged the price of oil back down again because Trump can't have a high price of oil. Even if the Straits of Hormuz, the last time price of oil spiked to like $140, it was 10%. That was because of war again. The threat was 10% of what it is now. That's actually under threat. That nothing has moved through the Strait of Hormuz hardly. So 20% of the world's oil supply has been choked off, and they apparently have allowed China and I don't know. They've made various agreements, but anything going to our allies? No. Anything coming in to the ones that were supporting the great? No. And right now we're just threatened to attack you. That's one, is their edict. And then number two, we'll actually close the Strait of Hormuz. And they're telling you this, by the way. It's like it's not secret information or anything. And then stage three is strike at will because they've exhausted all their ammunition. And if you guys are still attacking us and you've got boots in the ground, then we take out all the oil refineries around us. And they are confident that they have and will have the weaponry to do so. And we are furiously trying to make it so that they can't, but we don't know where their weapons are launching from. And even less now because the radar systems are being destroyed. And the satellites, I don't know if there's satellite warfare going on or what. And that's another thing, Space Force. You think Space Force is using up some silver? Are you going to hear about it if they are? Are you going to know anything about how much it is per year? Do we know how much is in a Tomahawk? Do we know how much is in any of those weapons? We just estimate probably about a monster box or more. So again, there's a whole lot less silver on the planet now that's available for use than there was last Friday. And in the response from the great Satan is we didn't think they would hit us back. They literally said this. That's been scrubbed, I'm sure, but you could find that is that they were actually surprised at the response. And then they're actually surprised that the Russians or the Chinese would give them targeting data and give them sensitive information about who is where. Because apparently, and this is again body area network and cell phones, but they know where everybody is. Everybody, they know where I'm sitting, plus or minus 3 feet. Especially with all this Wi-Fi around here, and there's a Wi-Fi tower right there. They know exactly where I am and anybody else, whether you're a diplomat or whatever. And not just here, pretty much anywhere with their technology. So anyway, they knew where he was, and they threw a bomb at him. They knew who they were killing. They knew they were killing his family. The same way the Iranians know that they probably killed, they were going to kill Bibi's friends and relations. Right? These people are killing each other at the upper level. This part of it I don't mind actually. But here's the thing: United States is considered responsible for killing Ayatollah. Who's the head of the United? Oh, Trump. So do you think they might try to kill Trump for real? Not false flag, not miracle ear, but actually put a missile in or something? All's fair in love and war. I have no idea how this ends, but I know this is utter insanity. And if you're in favor of it, you're not a you're not a serious person. You're not a sane person. And if you think we're the good guys, think again. Worldwide, there's one country that thinks we're the good guys, and then the rest of them, like I said, worse than Nazis, worse than Rapid Jap Day. Sneak attack while they're negotiating. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, 5 times. And so they're trying to say, oh, it's like Lucy with the football. No. And even if it was, we're fucking Lucy. Is Lucy the good person in the story? Or do people feel sorry for Charlie Brown for being trusting? And further, they were showing you, see, again, um, they tell you what it means. There were some people that were dancing around and happy, not because they killed the Ayatollah, but because now he's a martyr. Yay, he's a martyr. We don't even understand that kind of thinking. But they're happy, they're thrilled that he died as a martyr. Yay, and they're singing and dancing, and you don't speak the fucking language. You don't even know what language are they speaking around. Anyway, I've gone on for wait. Good God, how many comments are over here? Yes, Skynet. Holy crap, Ray. Take it easy. Uh, yeah, geez. Okay. I'm quitting anyway. But the idea being is that this is not right. And if you think it's right, or if you don't have an issue with it, I have an issue with you. Like, no joking. Like, you red hats trying to defend this in any way, shape, or form. This is horrifying. Beyond horrifying. And the ramifications, if you can do the math, they have many, 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 many more missiles than we do. So when we run out of ammo, and we cannot replace them, we do not have an industrial complex, because once again, because we have the cancer sent all of that giant sucking sound that Ross Perot told you about, and Patrick Buchanan and all these other people that warned you what would happen if the manufacturing base left the homeland. And now it has come to pass. We don't have smelters. We don't mine silver. We don't have nothing. We don't hardly make steel. We don't have manufacturing plants. We don't have auto manufacturing. We don't have anything that we can convert over to making weapons like we did in. And even if we did, it still takes time, and we don't have that kind of time. Things have changed. It's a fast war. We haven't taken this much damage in, I don't think, ever. Nobody's ever inflicted this much damage on the United States corporation. And say I say we, no, it's not we. It's a habit. I was tricked. These fuckers tricked me at 14 and a half years old into signing rights away. And it took me till I was like 57 to figure out, oh shit, that driver's license. Oh shit, that bank account. Fraud ab initio. Making contracts with minors and stealing their money. This fuckers. And now I'm old enough, I'm supposed to be able to collect what? If I had that same money that they stole from me and I put it away, I probably would have pissed it away on booze and women. But if I didn't and I had to actually put it into one of the investments that I sold, I'd be fucking set beyond set right now. But instead, it's been sitting in this fucking account that doesn't do anything. And then they're taking money from you in fees and bonds and stuff like that to these are satanic pedophiles who just tried to kill you. That was the other thing I didn't mention. Did they or did they not? In the Epstein files, it tells you that they tried to kill you. That was not, those were not beneficial, anything. That was a psyop designed to cull the herd. They admit it. Those same guys are running the show with the war in Iran. These same bankers. And I guarantee you the bankers have probably figured out how to make money from the Iranians. Oops, no, they haven't, because that's the last place that isn't Bank of International Settlements, Rothschild. The last one. Go look at the list. They've checked them off one at a time. There was Iraq, there was Libya. Anyway, these guys, they're not going to bend the knee to us. Like, they're not. And they consider their cause just. And the propaganda that they're going to spread about the great Satan and Baal worshippers and people that fuck children and bomb children. And then we make it easy for them to do the bomb children part because on fucking day one, we bomb children. Generations. See, because Rapid Jap time, that was 1970. That war was only a couple of decades before, right? 1945, it ended. 1941 is when it was bombed. I was born in 64. What is that? That's only 23 years later. My mom remembered that war. She remembers Pearl Harbor. There were plenty of people in Hawaii remembered Pearl Harbor. Now there's hardly anybody that remembers Pearl Harbor. Everybody died. The last generation that actually saw the smoke clouds and saw the Zeros flying by and had the thrill of machine gun fire on Oahu, they all mafi. They're all dead. So only the next generation, right? Us guys, we heard the stories, but we don't know what it was actually like because we weren't there. They were actually there. They lived through it. And it lived on in Hawaii through Rapajap Day. You don't think this is going to live on like generations? They're going to hate us for generations. You've made it so it's unsafe for me to go some of the places I want to go. Because as soon as they see that American passport, fuck that guy. That's one of those baby rapers. That's one of those guys that didn't do anything about the pedophiles. That's one of those guys that was cool with them bombing children. That's one of those guys that thought that it was excellent to sneak attack and kill holy men. That's one of those dumbasses that believed that the Iranians would revolt once we killed the Ayatollah. And it wouldn't unite all the Sunnis, and then looks like the Sunnis and the Shia are actually going to be strange bedfellows for a little bit here because the Chinese and the Russians are going to give them the option. You with them? Do you think any of this? Do you think Bahrain's happy to be with us now? How about Dubai? Right, they're writing scalding letters. How about Kuwait? How about Oman? How about UAE? All of which depend on manufactured water, by the way. And they depend on the stuff coming through Hormuz for food. Do you think they're happy with us? Do you think they want to be aligned with the one that killed their They didn't like him. Make no mistake. But at the same time, that was an Ayatollah recognized in their religion, whether Sunni or Shia. They know who that is. And we killed the guy. The one guy that was, see, and again, that's the great Satan. The one guy that was against the atom, or them getting nuclear weapons. It's insanity. It's utter and complete insanity. We're going to lose every ally in the region because of our behavior, not because we're, but because of the things that we've done. They don't hate us because we're Christians. They don't hate us because we're free. They don't hate us because our women don't cover their hair. That's not why they hate us. They hate us because we threw down a government that was democratically elected, and then for 8 years we supplied Iraq with missiles when Iran was backward enough back then that they didn't have any missile technology to shoot back with, and they vowed that would never happen again, and here we are. And they're going to try to use, oh, they make their women wear burqas. They do not make their women wear burqas. Well, maybe a certain sect inside there, but no, that's not it. It's the hijab. Wrong religion. You're just so fucking ignorant. You don't even. Ah. Anyway, I should stop. This isn't going to go well. You need to prepare. You can yuck it up, Chuckles. You fucking idiots. Get you some gas. Make sure your tank is full. Get you some food. Get you some way to filter water. Prepare for the worst. Expect the best. Use all the old bullshit axioms about, oh, it's better to have it and not need it than to not have it and need it. Yeah, think that way. But don't get too crazy, because I got some friends that are starting to get crazy because they're starting to realize, yeah, shit's going down. It's actually coming. This shit's getting real. It's coming. And right now, everything, you walk outside, everything's fine. I'm going to mosey on over to Costco and pick up a $5 chicken, and everything is going to be dandy. And I'm going to go to the gas pump, and gas is going to be, three something. But it's not going to be $10. And nothing's going to fall out of the sky. I'm not going to watch rockets. I'm not going to hear anything blow up. Nothing's going to go boom. Okay, there's a bunch of people on the planet now that can't say the same. For no fucking good reason. And yeah, Israeli, right? Same liberal white women. Fucking hate liberal white women. But you don't shoot them in the face. I don't care. You just don't. You don't get to shoot them in the face. I don't care. Okay, it's women and children. I don't care if it's Jew women and children. I don't care if it's Muslim women and children. You don't get to fucking bomb women and children, and they're bombing women and children. And animals. And you've got no issue with this. On both sides, there's going to be carnage. And they may bring it home. The chickens may come home all the way across the ocean. Hopefully not. Hopefully you don't need any of your rations and you wind up eating them over the next 25 years. But it's not looking good. And if you think it's looking good, you must be lapping up propaganda from the mainstream media, because it's not going well. And they have a solid plan. We cannot decapitate the plan. Everybody in the whole huge nation and mountainous region, all the commanders and all the different bases, they all understand the plan. Meantime, first it was this, then it was that. Now we're gonna do this. Then we're not gonna bomb. Oh yeah, and okay, we're gonna carpet bomb them. Now we're gonna bomb them into submission. Now then we're gonna free the people. Oh, that's not gonna work. So then we're a little confused because the lying liars thought that they just had to kill Khomeini and that was all we had to do. Turns out not. So prepare, because your leaders are idiots, psychopathic idiots that fuck their food before they eat it, terrorize it, and drink the blood. These are the people that are running the show. And you're about to find out names and addresses. Actually, you can still find out names and addresses with just a little digging. Because guess who let out some information unredacted? And if you look at the court records, it's all of them. I mean, it's all of them. And these are the ones that are telling your sons and daughters that the naughty Iranians need liberating. Or now they just need punishing. Or whatever story they just came up with. It's like Renan, you idiots! You idiots! Trisha's grandchildren got to grow up in this shit. My grandbaby's got to grow up in this shit. So, may be time to get rid of some of this shit. Okay. I'm glad you are. I'm out. Crouton Ramon's House of Math. There's also 100 Monkey. I'm probably going to download this one and let's see if it gives me another channel strike. But anyway, I'll download it and upload it to the 100 Monkey channel. And the way I end that one is always e pluribus unum. Educate yourself and then educate others. If you could do some math, the math is not in our favor on this one. And the Iranians have done the math. We're fucked. Like straight up. There's no way to sugarcoat it. We're fucked. They're gonna fuck the econ. They're gonna. We're fucked. Best case scenario, we're fucked. And on that happy note, like I said, we need to organize. We need to educate each other. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. You probably know a lot of stuff I don't know, and we need to share information. And then like-minded individuals need to get together, and people that are not like-minded, like the people that think that this is a fucking good idea and that they're defending the fucking psychopath Donald Miracle Ear Jab Daddy Trump. And don't say boo about dick Democrats, because if it was the other guys, you'd be just as stupid and saying stupid shit about how Kamala was handling this thing and look at a powerful woman. Fuck all y'all.